Hey, so again, good night, everyone, and welcome to the Uncomfortable Conversation. Tonight's topic is I'm a bad bitch, I'm a boss, but I'm lonely. Oh gosh, I see all you guys laughing, okay? So, what is the definition of a bitch?
Human
Anybody?
term? Human terms never got that. Why they call themselves that.
Okay, so the definition of a bitch is a female dog, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why would anybody, especially Black women, wants to refer to themselves as a female dog?
You wonder why?
Well, if that's the definition of it, why would we as female want to refer to ourselves as a bitch?
Because that's not the definition they use.
Okay, but
You
is
said
it
that's not the definition that they use? I thought it is the definition that they use there. I know where I hear it. Go ahead, Ken.
No, I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
I mean, that's the definition I hear them say. I'm a bad B. From the music to the entertainment to the talk shows, they say they're a bad B. And like, I just finished getting off my podcast and we're reading the book Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. And this is part of the reasons why they call themselves a bad bitch. You an animal. This is what they tell everybody. We have become and we are becoming everything that the media says we should be, as opposed to actually who we were manufactured from God when he said, let us make man in our image. So we pay attention to the media and we become everything it is that they say we should be. Put on television, put on radio, put on the music and everything. And that's what we become because we see these people on television, because we hear these people on the radio, we can stir in our mind that they're famous, they made it. So we want to be where they are. So we begin to emulate and act like them. And that's what our women do. I'm a bad B. That's what they hear. You can go to a club right now and this woman talking about I'm looking for a real man. I'm a high quality woman. I'm a lady. I'm a bad B. I got my own. And you singing a song about having like, what do you call those things? Menage a trois, and you gonna run through every dude that got the bag. That's what bad bees do.
right? But
And you wonder why you lonely.
right, but isn't it a way of now that women are using bad B as a way of complimenting themselves?
But what they act like though?
What do they act like? Well, it in the reality, when in terms of the woman, I have my own, I take care of myself. And it also fall into the category of I don't need a man.
Right.
Whereas the real definition as others, that's how women see themselves, but men and some other women see them as a nasty personality, you're despicable. I don't want to be associated with you because you are a bitch. A bitch is supposed to be a low down person. But yet, and we only see that mainly in Black women referring to themselves. I don't see anybody else, maybe a few white women, but mainly it's the Black women that refer to themselves as a bad bitch.
Liberation. Women are liberated. Take care of themselves. We don't need a man.
Okay.
You have multiple definitions of it. I agree with what you said, and I agree with what the king just said right here. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying? It's a negative connotation that we try to make something good out of. And for my part, what I see, and I deal with people from all walks of life, that this bad bitch, for the most part, carries the attitude of a dog. Like the brother just said, like the king just said, nigga, I don't need you. I take care of my own, I do all my own.
Right, but women are switching it around to normalize it as a way, they turn it into positive to make themselves look good. Because when women say that, they don't look at themselves in a bad light, right? They look at it like, I'm all this, I'm good, maybe I'm good in bed, I'm good in this, I'm everything positive. So that's basically how they look at themselves, and not in the negative. I'm empowered by saying I'm a bad bee.
Can I say something?
Correct, yes, go ahead.
I do believe that, let's say, the encyclopedia's definition of a bitch is entirely different than the black woman's interpretation of a bitch.
Mhm.
They may
Correct.
see it as something low down, dirty, so on and so forth. A black woman's interpretation of a bitch is similar to what you just described, somebody who has her own, somebody who has an independent thought. I like to liken it to, let's say, the biblical term of the Proverbs 31 woman. And she can do all of these things. And it goes on to tell so many different things that she's able to do. But at the end, it says that her husband is known throughout the gates. So basically, if you want to reverse it, he's a Proverbs 31 man versus her being an equally yoked Proverbs 31 woman. Now, in that sense, if you're equally yoked, then you don't have to be a bitch because you still have your thing. But what you're talking about is a woman that does not have a man. And she does not have a man because she cannot relate to someone who is her equal.
Okay, so, right, you're saying that, but if you listen, don't Kanye has a song that for his ex-wife now that says she's a perfect bitch?
I don't listen to Kanye West.
I don't either, but when I was doing this, I kind of like try to make reference of things, and that was one of the things. So and I do hear married women saying I'm a bad bitch. So it's not just single women that so-called don't have a man.
But your topic is don't have a man.
Right, no, I understand that. There's lonely married women too, just to be clear.
Ooh.
I'm gonna keep it out.
No, but I'm saying, but they take it, the whole thing is that they do take the negative, and Black women especially turn it around to make it as a positive for them.
Sierra's kind of doing that right now. The singer with Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead, Maurice.
I have like I'm not really in a situation of a contradiction, but I'm in a situation of a paradox. Paradox is both situations seem different, but they're the same. So I like this woman who, like you call yourself a bad bitch, you know what I mean? That's what you want to be. That's what you call yourself. And if you this woman like you are, that I know of, you know what I'm saying? You taking care of everything. You have, you going to school, you going to work, you taking care of your business, you doing your own thing. You got your podcast, you going on, and you have turned something negative into something positive, but you have a positive attitude with it. If that's what you feel like, I'm not gonna never call you a bad B, but if you call yourself that, I'm gonna respect you with that. But this other bad B, that's the negative, that's disrespectful with the terrible attitude, that act like the female dog, that go, nigga, I don't need you to treat men like that and treat themselves out here doing. I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna deal with each one of you accordingly. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna knock that girl that's doing what she's doing and call herself that, but she's really doing everything that she's supposed to do. She don't have that nigga, I don't need you attitude. Okay, that's what you call yourself. I might be. Why you do that? You don't have to do that. But this woman that's really with that attitude and tripping, I'll look at you like what you call yourself. And I'm gonna deal with you how you deal with yourself, but not dealing with you at all. That's me.
I
Interesting.
seem to come across, and I talk about the broken home quite a bit since we've been on these different topics. I think that's one of the reasons with the Black young female. However, she comes up to get this feeling and she's done it, or she's messed with the bad boys, because some of these young ladies like that bad boy, yet something doesn't quite work out its way, or you didn't know that, depending on who these women are.
Okay, but right, and as you say that, that was like kind of one of my notes here. So isn't it the same thing? You're talking about men talking about bad bitches, right? But why don't the men like some of these men like these bad bitches?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same thing like saying the women like the bad boys, right?
but they do.
Some men like the bad bitches too.
Right.
I think very few of us real men though.
No,
Agree.
no, no. Listen,
That's my
but
perspective.
correct, but they
My
do.
perspective.
But you
Because
look.
guess
No,
what?
I
A
agree.
real
No,
man, a
I
real-
agree with you, but that's all they are to them, right? Whereas maybe the
That's what I
women,
was
they're
getting at.
into the
You
women.
read my mind.
The women are
read
more
my mind.
into the bad boys and want to be Mrs. Bad Woman, whereas the man, the bad bitch, is just your playtime. That they'll never take them home. That's not gonna
Right.
be wife
Well, right.
material.
I think we was about to say the same thing because see, this bad girl, this girl that likes the bad boy, she really likes the bad boy. She can become emotionally attached to the bad boy. The man, the real man that's dealing with this bad bitch, I'm dealing with you for the moment. I'm dealing with you like when I can have you on that prospect. And after I'm done with you, I'm really done with you because I'm never thinking about wifing you. Not a girl, she will husband a bad boy. But most real men, I'm gonna deal with you for how you present yourself, but I'm not gonna wife you, the bad bitch. Those just from my experiences, things that I see. So it's a difference there. Don't no real man want a bad bitch. But that one, she
Looks good on your arm sometimes.
my opinion.
For the moment.
I agree with you, Mike.
Huh? What is that?
I agree with you, Mike.
At that time, it seems to be good for the moment, but when it just continues and so on, her purpose is used for whatever that man or that type of guy who's into that woman. And I would figure like when the women say the good guy, that's when it's like, I've had that. Now let's go with the guy who seemed like he always kind of had something more stable, but he's kind of corny, or he don't spark that something that I want where the bad boy did. And therefore, here's where the bad B comes in too, because you got to be able to handle a be like me, because be like me don't play that, all that type of jive. And now it's like, done with it.
But look, but sometimes what they call them, sometimes the Sims man needs a bad bitch, right? Because she can protect him.
Wow. Well, protect.
Listen, there's some of them who need to be protected. But okay, so
Good evening, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Husband. Okay, so someone said, does the term bad bitch, wasn't it the term bad bitch used to keep women down?
Who was saying it? The men, the
That's
women?
the question. Someone just asked me the question, so I put it to you guys.
I'd say it depends on who it's coming from. A man would say she's a bad, and that's a good thing. A woman would say she's a bad, and that's a bad thing. So you gotta look at the source.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so we talked about the bad bitch some, so let's talk about the boss. My boss.
Boss babe.
I can hold my own. I don't need you. I
Yeah.
can pay my own bills. I got my house, I got my car. And if I do have you, you're temporary.
Yeah.
I think that's the part people, the men don't like.
Yeah, when they got that money.
You know, let's go back to my whole thing that I was talking about. I unfortunately hooked up with two bad bitches, but not in a negative way, right? They were each independent. They each had things going for them. They each had intelligence, you know, so on and so forth. I was the one that was lacking, and consequently, not so much, but really, they got rid of me.
Right. And so that goes to our conversation last 2 weeks ago, right? So now
Yeah.
they're doing all these things. Did they ever want you to step your game up?
I'm sure they did, but
Okay.
but most of the time, it's not as though they're going to tell you, step your game up. In other words, they stepped their game up because that was naturally within them. And so consequently, they wanted it also to be naturally within me. This way, the same thing I talked about, equally yoked.
So let me ask you this from a woman
They
perspective.
was
If
grown.
no, so let me just
They
ask
was
you,
grown.
okay, from a woman perspective, we're together
Mhm.
and you see me stepping up my game. If you see me elevating, wouldn't it be a thing to say, well, you know what, she's doing all of this? Let me at least try to meet her halfway instead of still being this culture and just
Let me
process.
clarify something just to be on the safe side. Well, to protect myself. They did not elevate, well, they did not begin their elevation until I was gone. Once I was no longer part of their lives, then they started to step up their game. Basically, they were waiting for me to step up my game. And when I didn't, they got rid of me and then stepped up their game.
Right.
Question, just want to intervene. Sorry, Kevin, how many times would they tell you the problems or the issues that they were having with you?
There was never any conversation about the problem.
You sure? Are you 100% sure? Like, think back, really think back.
The other thing that you don't know about me is I also had an addiction problem. So that
yeah, so probably she was telling you and you weren't listening, because most problem women have.
Yeah, I'm sure I wasn't.
When we're talking to men, they don't listen. You know, that's our number one problem. Y'all always think y'all know everything, and then we're trying to tell you certain things because we have certain visions, and men just think like, we don't know what we're talking about, or they have more intelligence than us, or how dare we tell you what to do. So eventually we just get tired talking and just leave. Like, hello.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it happened to me, so I can't argue that point.
Okay, go ahead, Maurice. Go ahead, Maurice. You're frozen. You're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Plus, we can't hear you. Sound like that guy, the little cartoon.
Still frozen. Let me.
Yes.
Let me.
Turn off your video.
Can you hear me?
Your voice will come better.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can hear you also, yes.
You can see me and hear me now?
Correct.
Psychologically and statistically, 90% of all conversation is nonverbal. I was raised by 4 women, you know what I mean? So I paid attention to everything it is they did, plus asked a lot of questions. So I can guarantee, like the queen who just got off that was communicating with you said, are you sure she didn't say anything? I believe through little things she talked to you about it, but 90% of the time she was showing you that she wanted you to step up. That's why they left, because you weren't paying attention. You wasn't listening to what they were showing you.
Exactly.
That's just my opinion.
You're exactly right. I was
My opinion. Yeah, they want to talk, and it's like, and I talk about this. Beverly come to my podcast sometimes, and it's like Men have to lead with the right head and in the right direction. I'm not knocking nothing. You, I don't know you. But how can I step into your life and not help you elevate? Naturally, like they wanted you to do naturally. You know what I mean? So she communicated, and then they communicated, and then they communicated more so physically through action. And when you didn't pick up, they was like, okay, well, he ain't gonna move, so why should I remain?
And honestly speaking, I agree with you. And as I said, because of my addictive personality at that time, I was not listening. Now, just on the safe side, I've got 20-something years clean now. But the experience that they suffered through, I mean, I can call each of them. One lives in New York, one's here in Jersey, and we can have lovely conversations. We can go out, but that's all it's going to be. It's not going to be any more commitment as far as that goes.
Of course not, because they probably look like, you know, history repeat itself. I'm going to go through this again. I don't want to put myself through that again.
I think I told you the second wife and I just went to Florida together.
So, all right, so let's talk about the characteristic of the boss.
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay, we don't want to get too much off of topics like we've been doing in the past. We want to kind of like stick to it. So I think that I hear men criticize women now because she's saying, I'm a boss. What makes a woman a boss, in you guys' opinion? And is it a bad thing?
I look at
when she brings the boss mentality from what she does at home and at work, like, to me, it's something a little wrong when it's a little extra, bringing that boss mentality, especially if you live with your husband, right? Or with your man. But this boss, that's good. Be a boss, leave it there. When you come home or when we together, and it has to be a match. And at some point, it just seems to be a little extra. And that's kind of my experience with a couple. That's where I see it from. And I got 2 daughters, so what the heck?
Yeah, I deal with it from different perspectives, and I'm in accord with what the brother just said when King was on here right just now. It's like, it depends upon, like, it's like when I was talking about how you're a bad B. It depends upon me according to the character and how you display it. You can be a bad B and what you have turned, and you've made a negative turn, and it's a positive for yourself. I don't like you calling yourself a bad B-I-T-C-H. That's what you do, and okay, I understand you doing everything on your own, whatever, okay. But then you have the bad B-I-T-C-H, that's, nigga, I don't need you out here, you outside butt naked with all your lips poked out. Same thing when you go to boss. Same thing when you go to boss.
So
you working, you own your own business, you handling your business, you driving what you want to drive, you kick it how you want to kick it, you deal with guys how you want to deal with guys, but you're respectful. Okay, you're a boss. You're a boss in what it is that you do and how you carry yourself. You know what I mean? Then you got that still, when you can flip it and conglomerate both of these terminologies. I'm a boss, B-I-T-C-H. I hear that too. But you carry the attitude as the negative. I don't like that. You know what I mean? So it depends upon, again, how you carry yourself. Then on the flip side, 1/3 with me is I'm a boss. So I come from a different lifestyle. I come from a different perspective. So even when you with me, no matter what it is, you got to watch what you say to me anyway. You're not a boss to me. You know what I'm saying? You a boss at work. You're not a boss when you come home with me. And that's that's the bad thing that some women take up. When you come up, you're a supervisor, you run multiple clinics, you do I'm the man. I'm the boss when I come home. I'm not your employee. So we got to put things in the proper perspective according to how I deal with situations.
okay, but so suppose this one, she's making more money. You have a penny job. That's, but that can basically can't pay the bill, probably the electric bill.
Mhm.
So she buys the groceries, she got to feed you, probably got to clothes, you got to borrow money. So why isn't she the boss?
No, because that's not me. I'll never be him. I'll never be him. And I don't care if you make more money than me. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help you make some more money.
But okay, but
Why
we're not.
you with me?
It's
Why
not
you
personal. Okay, so it's not personal. I'm just never mind. I'm using the terminology you, but a man, right? So we're not talking on a personal level because this is general. So here I am. I'm making all this money. I'm running the house. You got light bill. First of all, I won't be dealing with no man like that. Let's be clear.
That's what I'm like.
But isn't she the boss though? She's doing all these things.
No, not to me.
So she has to be a submissive woman.
Still.
Can I say something?
By all means.
When in each of the situations, my two marriages, it all operated one way. When we came home respectively, the money, let's say we had a household fund and everybody put money into the household fund. Who controlled the household fund? Me. So I paid all the bills with all the money that was put in as far as the household fund. So it wasn't any, I'm in control because I do this. We all put in the same amount of money for the bill and I just paid the bills, which is a way of, let's say, exerting that control and her being able to do with her money what she wanted to. I mean, that's the way it worked out in both of the marriages. So it wasn't an issue of who's in control. It was a household fund, you paid the bills. That's how that worked. Worked for me.
See, the times has changed though, with the last 10 years leading up to wherever it is, what you had, what I had, Maurice, and so on.
Like I said,
The boss babe of today make more money than you. They just changed mentally and also their, I don't want to say attitude, but their characteristics have changed, that they can talk and act a little extra. That's the way I'm trying to put it.
Yeah.
Too much.
So that's
I'm not here. I don't want that.
So right. So that woman is considered, according to stereotype, the angry Black woman, right?
Yeah.
okay.
She's aggressive.
The one that, what's your name,
Yeah.
King? That's the right now that just said yes, who just finished speaking about the extra. What's your name?
Was that Vanessa?
Michael.
Oh,
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call all women queens are Black, and I call all brothers kings. You know what I'm saying? So King Michael, I agree with you. That extra, you can't bring that to my house. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much you make. I don't care what you drive. I don't care what it is you do. I'm the man. And especially if I'm playing, I'm the man anyway, but even more so when I'm playing my part. That's why the end of this session is called Bad B Boss, I'm Lonely. That's why. Because a real man not gonna embrace it.
Right.
That extra wasn't designed for you, Maurice. It wasn't and the girls that do that is not the girls that you.
I don't listen.
So that's not for you. That's for like bummy guys who don't work, who don't do anything. That's who that's for, not somebody who provides, So you don't have to worry about that.
No, what I'm saying is this, because sometimes in today's times, like things have not changed from the Jim Crow era to slavery right now. It's a lot of brothers that are being actually denied from being able to be in certain positions that they were in. And a woman don't see that. So she don't want to give him this chance. So you can have a real man that don't have it right now because he's being denied, because he's having a whole lot of situations that life can happen. Parents could have passed away, whatever the situations took place to where now he's in the process of starting over and he runs into this boss. He runs into this bad B. And he got it, everything that's needed to get there, and that can take her to a higher degree than she is.
But if he runs into the right boss,
because she's a bad B. Because she's
you
a
understand,
bad
Maurice?
But yeah, I understand, because she's a bad B, because she's a boss.
No. Not that. No,
She won't look
not
at
that.
him.
You see, you're looking at it at the wrong way. There's two type of bosses, right? There's the boss woman who is rude and she will tell you the things that you guys are talking about. But then there's the boss woman who's visionary, who would see something and you build it. It's like she tells you, okay, I need a bridge to go from Manhattan to New Jersey, and you as the man, you build it. So there are women who have vision. That's a different type of boss.
I said
So
the
when
same.
you
I said that.
no, when you meet up with that type of boss woman, you grow, you elevate. You know, like if you like the fairy tale of Michelle and Barack, certain type of boss woman will make you grow. But then there's certain type of women who have an attitude. That's an attitude. That's different. Will make you decrease as a man. So you really do want a boss woman. I mean, think about it. Do you want an airhead, somebody who has no vision, somebody who doesn't know what life is about? Or do you want someone filled with ideas, with ambition, who have things going on, who can show you things maybe you mightn't even know? You know, it's how you look at it, you know? Besides, when I was a child growing up, my parents thought I was antisocial because I spent a lot of time with older folks. You know, if you were born from 1890s to 1920, I was your best friend. And a lot of things the woman told me, they said, okay, this is a secret. I'm telling you guys, Caribbean secret. They said, let the men think they are head of the household, but the person that controls the house is the woman. So, you know, and me as a grown up, I see what they're talking about, you know, and they told me this as a child. So, you know, it's all about perception, how you look at it. If you look at a boss woman as an attitude, a bitch, then, you know, that would be what you get. But if you look at a boss woman as a visionary, someone who elevates, then, you know, your whole attitude and your perception about women might just change.
I just
But-
said the same thing. So like I
But
said,
then there's men who likes that woman, that boss woman, because he needs to be told what to do like a child. Because
But if
guess
her
what?
patience runs out,
That's
it's
no,
over.
but that's the way he was brought up. He got it from his mother or his grandmother, where it become a lifestyle. You got to tell them everything, every step of the way. They need to be guided. They need to be told what to do. And they like that, and they feel comfortable with that.
And that's why the fathers are missing in a lot of the
Yeah.
cases.
on purpose.
I'm still kind of
On
going back to
purpose.
that.
On
I'm
purpose.
going back to that a little bit. And yes, we understand that women had to take over. It's different than my mother, than my daughter, who feels like she got to be even though she's married, but she has a certain way about her that she feels like if it's going to be done, she's just a little aggressive, is what I'm saying. The way her husband is. But she feels like he has to be that way, because he ain't quite doing what he needs to do as a young man.
Okay, but listen to what you just
This is the
said.
era we at.
But listen to what you just said. He's not doing. So guess what? She had to step it up, right? Because he's lacking. Exactly.
Yeah. And she has kids.
You know,
So then
goes back to, remember a couple of weeks ago, you also did a session on communication. I think that, you know, I've heard, you know, what some of the gentlemen are saying, like you have an expectation of what your role is. And I think women have an expectation of what the gentleman's role is. But I don't ever think that it's made clear sometimes between the two of them what each person actually expects. And I think that's also where, you know, there could be that tension, because I think sometimes if you tell someone, look, I'm in this relationship and this is what I would like my role to be, or this is what I envision my role to be, I think that sets things in a different direction. And then I think, as Michael was just saying, talking about his daughter, if her husband is not stepping up, but like, what exactly does that mean? Like, where's the conversation to, and I don't know, maybe it has happened, but I'm just putting it more out in the open. Like, what's the conversation of what does she actually expect from him to do? And is it actually clear? So sometimes I just wonder, and I'm not in a relationship, so I'm not saying that, I'm having that conversation with anyone, but I think that is important for people to be able to make it clear. What am I really expecting of you?
Agree.
Yeah. She just wants him to have a steady job. That's what that is. And I've tried to help. But again, she's kind of, I'm not the boss babe, but she has a certain way about her. But yes, she had to do that. But again, where I come from, with my ex, that wasn't the case. But the women of today,
okay, you said
they making more money, they have more, yes, but the characteristic, I'm trying not to use the word attitude, the characteristics is what it is.
You know what? And you're right. And there was a shift because, now you seeing that men are just demeaning with Black women, especially. But when the Black woman was sitting at home, going to work while the Black man was sitting at home, she's paying all the bills, he's driving her car, he's doing all that. They didn't have a problem.
That wasn't statistically though.
It still was happening. Didn't
That
matter.
wasn't statistics. So
now that the Black women have elevated herself, and she's not falling for all that stuff that she used to. Here, you drive my car while you sitting at home, you ain't got a job, you drop me off, or you ain't picking up the kids, whatever have you, right? No, she's a bitch, she's a this, she's everything that's not right, according to the eyes of the man. Now, what they say, oh, we got choices, we got options, we got all of that. But before, when it was the other way around, you didn't have any problem with it. Yes.
That's a very, very low minority.
You trying to start stuff though.
And then the other half was the woman that were being abused, that didn't have jobs, that had to stay home and deal with, all sort of domestic issues, and were miserable, but just couldn't go anywhere because they had no financial income to do anything about it, so they were stuck.
Can I make
And guess what? They told their grandchildren, don't be stuck. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know a couple. The woman has to, at this point in her career, make over $150,000. Has to, without a doubt.
They should raise the bar.
Her mate, I keep this, okay. She virtually owns her own condo. She virtually owns another condo that she rarely uses. This individual, and just to give you an idea, she just told me she's taking 2 weeks off from work and she was going to go to a different state, but she's not going to go because the man that she's dealing with couldn't get off from work. But like I said, she has more than enough money to do and go and do whatever she wants to do. And her man is working, a menial job. She totally dislikes that idea.
Well, she should, and so should she, right?
Yeah,
and then again, that's the man she picked, so that's her choice. So in other words, if I'm making 150 and I pick a man that's making 20,000, I don't need to criticize it or demean him because that was a choice. I picked that. What did I think? All of a sudden he was going to rise up to my 150?
Help elevating.
You can.
That's an excellent point that you raised. And that's what I was going to ask Michael. And then for everyone, on the call as well, how do you navigate that if the male in the relationship is not able to live up to the expectation, right? So as you said that maybe he doesn't have a job making enough. So how does that get handled in the relationship?
like Kevin said earlier, that's unevenly yoked.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're always going to demean him, because anything
Right.
would
That's
be
always gonna, that
it's going to
tension
be a trigger, because if you have an argument and it don't even have, it could be something simple. What is she going to do? I make more money than you. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. He's going to consistently hear that. So that's a dead relationship. You have to be a damn good woman to not throw that in his face every time you turn or you have a disagreement.
I think her name, what's her name, Queen, with the I love your hair too, with the salt and pepper.
I'm Yvette.
Yvette, okay, like Yvette says, this is, from my perspective, open, honest communication out the gate, and time. Time tells the truth of all things. So if we become friends before we commit, you know what I mean? Guess what I understand with open, honest communication? If we should commit or not. If we should remain just friends, because we're not going to be compatible together, especially if you're not adaptable. So let's just go ahead and chill and remain friends. Let's not go that next route. Let's not go that extra level before we, you know, to turn it anywhere, to have any process of, what do you call it? Cross communication. I think, but you said no, but you acted like. Be disciplined within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Understand what it is you want. Have this open, honest communication. These are my morals, my standards, my principles, my honor, my loyalty, my integrity. This is where they stand. What about you? To have these conversations. And guess what? You know the answers to the questions that you need to ask about. You know the answers that you need to ask. So you ask them these questions. And guess what? If they don't answer them in the manner in which that you're looking for, that you know the answers to, why are you there? Why will you continue this to a relationship when you know you should not? Then you have yourself to blame for that.
Okay. So, as on that note, takes you to the lonely, right? So, all the whys that you just mentioned, Maurice, those are some of the whys. I'm stepping down because I'm lonely, but I don't really want you, but to keep me from being lonely, I'll settle for the half a loaf.
And on that note, let me say that couple I was talking about.
You sure it ain't you?
Okay, unequal. No, it's not me. Unequally, they've been together like 20 years.
Okay.
Okay. It fits into what Maurice just said.
I missed something.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to finish.
Me?
Kevin.
Yeah, that's why he said something that
I said that
for 20 years.
The two individuals I was talking about, they've been together unequally yoked for the last 20 years.
They unhappy.
Well, let's just say I only talked to her, so I know that she's unhappy. She's not completely unhappy though. I mean, she's unhappy when it comes to the financial aspects, but everything else.
So maybe sex is good, huh?
Well, I don't even know. I don't even think it deals with sex. I think it's more, like I said, they've been together for 20 years. They can't see being apart. It doesn't.
Okay. So they're like family member or something, a child, mother-child type of relationship. I can't part from you because you said, listen, I'm just jumping the gun here. Okay, you said you don't think the sex and you ain't in the bedrooms, you're just thinking. And then you said the finance, you're assuming, right? Or that's factual?
No, that's factual. Let me say this.
Okay, so
these individuals have been together, not in together, but they've known each other since they were teenagers.
Okay, so Kevin, based on what you're saying,
yes.
Then they have their own bedroom, they're sharing the space, they're roommates, right?
They're roommates, that's what I said, they're roommates.
No, they're not roommates.
Okay. Did you see on my in my group, did you see that I have a bed where it's set? Did you see that? So they're like that. They have the bed with the border in the middle.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but I don't think that they have the border in the bedroom. I don't know very much about
so Kevin, let me ask you this. How come you all up in the people business like that?
No, let's just say that people talk to me.
Is she unhappy?
Okay. I just had to get that out the way.
Yeah,
so anyway, so yeah, let's get back to the fact about I'm lonely.
Their hopes and dreams. That's what a lot of situations that women deal with. Women jump into a lot of female. Your biology is different than ours. Men we deal with reason and logic. Women are based on hopes, imagination, dreams, fantasies. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute.
Wait, say that again. You're saying that what?
Biology.
It's
Biology.
opposite.
Biology. The
Okay.
biology of women
Mhm.
is hopes, dreams, fantasy, imagination. That's why a lot of women are in certain situations and deal with that guy that's selling the dream, that can't do nothing that he said he was going to do, but you feel for it and you hope for it. You on emotions. You hoping that he's going to produce what he says, and then a lot of y'all get into situations of, guess what? Oh, I'm going to change him. He
Okay,
got
but
potential. I'm going to get in this. And then you hope that because you get with him and you this heck of a woman, that this man going to change. And he
Okay.
not, and he don't.
But isn't that kind of the opposite of the bad bitch? I'm the boss, because she's a provider of herself. She don't need the man.
Why you with him? Why you got kids?
Listen, I'm in a lot of groups where I hear
I'm not
women
talking about
now, they don't want the man after the kids. And now, you got the labs, but a lot of women, they just want to have a dependent. They have no use for a man, and it clearly states that. So when, like the conversation we previously had when we talk about a single mom, they want to be single mom. They don't want that package deal. So
again, you spoke earlier, and I told you something about how this man dropped his girl off to work and kept the car, and he was, that's a minority. That's a minority, man. That's not majority of men. That's always been a minority. Like you saying right now, this woman that really don't want no man. This woman is really going through all these situations. Genetically, how the Most High made you, you do want somebody and you do get lonely. That's why your last piece is what? Lonely. You this boss, B-I-T-C-H, you this boss, you this bad B-I-T-C-H, but you still get lonely. You still want somebody in your side. That's why a lot of y'all in situations of being a bad B-I-T-C-H or a boss, guess what you do? You lonely. You still want somebody. That's why you settle for this lane that you can tell what to do. Treat him how I do, drop you off to work and take the car, and he better be back at a period of time because he's a kid to you. You still need and want a man, but you want somebody that you can control. That's the opposite of the bad B-I-T-C-H, the negative aspect of the bad B-I-T-C-H and the boss. That's not the one who's a boss female or a bad B that's handling all her business that will actually come to when a real man step into her life, she'll submit. She'll get in her position. That's the difference between them.
Definitely. But you have to meet all of those things, right? It's either you're meeting all of those things or you settle it.
Is that the boss B? She's settling? If he's not meeting those criteria?
Yeah.
To me, it all depends.
The boss settled. The B supposed to have it all together. The boss end up settling.
It all depends.
Because
I see chicks call themselves bad. I'm a boss, and you got your girl's outfit on. You got your girl's outfit on. You got on your girl's shoes. You will be your wig not on straight. You really don't have a job like you supposed to have, and they call themselves bad B-I-T-C-H's and bosses. So again, that's why I separate it according to the character and the position that this woman is playing, depending upon what she calls herself, and I'm gonna deal with her according to how she plays herself. But I don't care who you are. In most cases, 98% of them, I don't care if you're a real boss, got it all, doing it all, you get lonely. It's the makeup of a woman.
Well, at the end of the day, we weren't meant to be alone.
Period.
I will agree,
Okay.
Michael,
And
Maurice, except for that
a lot of.
What'd you say, Ken?
Say that again, Kevin.
Well, Maurice was talking about the personalities of men and women, and you had you had it reversed. In my situations, the women were more logical, systematic, and I was more the emotional type individual. Whereas you said that women are emotional and
98% of the time.
Yeah, well, I guess I fell into that other
98% of the time.
2%.
98% of the women he was with.
Women though.
This is actually my field. I'm a case management counselor, predominantly relationship and marriage. So I'm going off numbers that I deal with and study.
I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean, numbers don't lie, but also, when you look at it for the past couple of years, things are changing rapidly too. Okay, but at the end of the day, yes. So why I said lonely, because a lot of women claim you got your shit together, you consider yourself a good woman, and you're still single. There's nobody coming home. When you come in and you close that door behind you, that's it. So you get up to go to work the next day.
I would love, like, through Beverly, this is your podcast, so I have to go through that from you. And I would love to send them a video that I did. It's called The Transgenderization of the Black Man and Woman. And what I'm talking about is, why does woman think like, something that we didn't really get into tonight is why she think like this. Why do we do the things that we do? Why have we allowed, the man, I'm gonna give him fault first. Why have we allowed our women to take on this criteria that the system created for them to divide us as a unit?
Well, partly to answer that, I don't have all the answers though. I think the media, and if we go further back before media, when we didn't have media, I think that a lot of women are tired. Because remember, back then, when men couldn't get a job, and we get that from our parents going down the line, okay? Because the female in my family are strong, they're dominant, okay? That's who we are. We have a few strong men, but mostly the women. We got that going down the line, but it goes back to the mother, the husband couldn't get a job, the man couldn't get a job, the woman had to step up. And throughout going down, we became stronger because we had to do this, we had to do that, we take on the role. And then from pulling the white man, taking the man out the house, and then we had to go back and we had to do this, we had to take care of the kids, we had to do all of that. So we just developed that strong mentality. And then come the white man who say, oh, you definitely don't need your man, you're strong, we're gonna have to take care of you, you can do this, you can do that without him. So we just continue the cycle. And then
right.
It's the media build us up like, yeah, you're a strong Black woman, just keep doing this, we could promote you. And we fall for that shit.
This process is systematic mental manipulation.
Correct.
Process of mental and emotional warfare, to where you say, okay, and I agree with you. He was like, the Black man could not get a job, so it forced the woman to step up. Do you understand that was a part of a plan? They had to give jobs to minorities. So instead of giving it to the minority Black man, they give it to the minority Black woman. So now how you look at your man? I'm doing everything. I can do all this by myself. I don't really need you. For a period of time, we stuck strong and we were fighting and we were showing our woman what we was doing, but then we became jealous. We became weak. We became emotional to degrees. So I look at Beverly like, you ain't SHIT. Who is you? You think you something because that was weak on our part. We should have stayed strong and said, baby, listen, they won't give me a job, they gave it to you, but this is what we gonna do. We gonna work together to make this happen. We gonna use your money and the little money that I make over here, and we gonna put this together to do our own. We didn't do that. We fell weak.
Right.
And that's why we're in the situations we in right now.
That's right. That's right. And now our men are going they got passports now, and the Black women are here.
I get stuck, they take my passport. You might help me get it back. I'm a strong. I saw that. I saw the dude that don't like the sisters no more. So he got a passport, lost his passport, and he called the same sisters that he don't like to help me get back. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the weak
Let's be
stuff.
clear about that.
That's what we went through. That's this, man, please y'all go get this book, Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. And it talks about all that and why we in the situations we in. This boss bad, why the women are by themselves, raising the boys and the girls. Look at the homosexuality rate. I don't knock nobody, whatever it is that you do. And then look at the men. Why we only represent 13% of the population on the planet Earth, but 57% of the prison population.
Right.
It's a plan.
Right.
We
I was
gotta
about to,
reverse this, man. We gotta do about this together.
I was about to say that another thing with the Black woman, what the men are on drugs or in jail. So you're doing all of this by yourself. So you lose all respect for the man, the Black man.
She look at you. Yeah, she look at you now like as you falling victim to this is the part, the killing part. We know what they doing and we still fall for it.
Okay.
That's giving her more reason to be this boss. That's giving her more reason to be this bad bitch that say, nigga, I don't need you. And I'm just keeping it real on the man perspective. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a man, we got to stop giving our reason, our sisters, our queens, reason to accept what the media tell them to do. We got to
Agree.
Another thing, it in a way with some of the boss babe. So I'm also going to think that, unfortunately, with the Black male, when he passes away due to some military situation, because we lose a lot of men. We see what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. A lot of the males, it's over for them. So you got these women who don't have that man in the house. When he was there, they lose the Black man to the streets or some mental, not military, but some mental illness now, or can't get a job. So she kind of got to be the boss without the attitude, I'm gonna say now. So the Black woman has to deal with first being Black, because her options to then date outside is a little limited too. So she kind of have to be that way. It's tough for the Black woman of the day, of all ages.
Yeah, I agree. But stop, in my opinion, again, stop taking on the criteria that they want you to. When you know, listen, if you know that the system done raped your grandmother, grandfather, I'm talking about people you met. I'm not talking that slavery wasn't long ago. The Jim Crow era wasn't long ago. 150 years, we know people that went through that. We met them in our families. You feel me? So if we know that's what's going on, why won't we do something about it? We can't keep blaming a people for, man, how many times you think you can walk past me on a club and step on my shoe before I stop you and be like, dude, I'm gonna put my hand up when you come past the third time. Hold up, man. So if we know what the situation is, when will those who claim to be conscious begin to act upon and apply? They say they know.
Well, that's the same thing I say about Black women.
That's what we
know why the Black man is in the position that he's in. Do we support him or do you turn your back on him? But at the end of the day, in either direction, you get tired. You get tired.
So the boss babe was made due to the lack of the man
being able to provide.
Right.
Say again?
Okay. Because you are educator, Michael. You've in the school. Who do you see more in college or high school, not high school dropout? The male or the female?
Male.
The male are the dropouts, right? The male are less likely to go to college.
Right.
Is it by design that you see a lot of schools are closing, but they're building prisons?
All the design. All the design that we have to stop falling victim to.
Well, we are.
We perpetuate that, man. We can't keep blaming. Listen, man, I've been to prison. I finished my education, everything in a joint, did everything I was able to do, started my business, came home, I run everything, and I teach people how to do what I do and not go back to prison. But the thing is, I had to learn and accept it. I had to say, man, I can't keep blaming them for sending me back to prison because I keep doing what they want me to do. I had to change it. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing that we have to do. You want a woman, and Beverly been on my podcast a few times, and I don't know if sisters on here, but I always talk about your power, the power that a woman has. You want this man to step up. This is not in every case. There's always exceptions to the rule, but in most cases, if you get a man will do anything that is necessary to be in your life. If you tell him he has to be educated, man, he gonna go to school. If he has to get a job, he gonna get a job. If he really likes you, cares for you, interested in you, love you, he's going to become what is necessary to be a part of your life. So if you want this brother to step up, you step up and watch what he do.
But a lot of Black women are stepping up. And
But
so
listen to what I'm saying.
No, but
You stepping
instead,
up financially. You stepping up financially. You stepping up educationally, but you will still tell him, nigga, I don't need you.
because it's taking him too long to catch on. How long are you gonna keep doing that?
I don't knock what this brother happened down here, and I don't condone what happened or to say, but I'm not gonna say I don't condone it. I'm gonna say this. The queens moved on because they said, bro, you not stepping up. You gotta give that brother the patience. Your patience and your tolerance is yours.
Correct.
You don't have to disrespect him to show him that he need to step up. And then if he don't, and your patience, your tolerance, say, I love you over there, right where you at. But I gotta go this way because I need somebody to help me and assist me in doing what I'm doing. Even if I have to invest in them, this is what I need for them to do. You're not doing it. I love you, brother, over there.
Pretty much.
Guess what he gonna do? You planted the seed. You planted the seed in that dude. So he either gonna water it and make it grow, or he gonna get choked out by weeds. That's on him. You do what you're supposed to do.
And that's why we got boss women.
You can be the boss. You can be the bad girl. But the characteristics of the negative attitude of that process, don't bring that. Don't bring that.
But as stated, that is what it is, right? When you say I'm a bad bitch, that means they switch it around as good qualities, but in actuality, it's not good qualities. You take that negative and make it a positive to fit your own agenda. That's my way of looking at it. I know for one thing, nobody can call me a bitch. I don't refer to myself as a bitch. Okay? So I would never take on that title. And to each his own.
And that's part of what we do. You could be, listen, you're a beautiful, bad woman. You don't have to add boss or BITCH that to give it more meaning. Please understand that that's part of what the system has done. And don't accept what it is the system does, like us brothers. You know what I'm saying? They made it extremely hard for us to get jobs. It's extremely hard for us to do businesses. You know what I'm saying? It's extremely hard for us to be friends with and trust one another to start businesses, relationships together. So guess what they did? They put drugs in it. We don't own tankers. We don't own ships. We don't own airplanes. How is fentanyl and cocaine and heroin in our neighborhoods? So what do? We do not discipline ourselves. We don't discipline ourselves, and we start partaking of what we know that they're doing. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing what we know what they want us to do, and stop blaming them for doing it.
Well, that's how boss women develop, right?
Yeah.
If y'all didn't fall short, then you wouldn't have us.
Mike, Beverly, that's how they come about. It's part of the systematic mental manipulation.
Right. So without that system, there wouldn't be our system.
Say it again.
Right. Okay, so you know, we know all the things that's happening. We sit and we talk about them all day long. What are solutions? Because that's all we need. We need solutions. How can the Black man and the Black woman unite? How do we keep us from being lonely after we're bad bitching with horses?
What's the sister
You'll
name on the
never
couch?
know that answer.
What's the sister name on the couch? The sister name that was
Yvette.
on the couch, Vanetta?
Oh, Yvette.
Vanetta?
Yvette.
What was her name?
Yvette.
Yvette.
Mhm.
Open, honest. She hit it out the key. Like
Okay.
open, honest communication and
Right.
education.
Right. No, and that's a factual. You'll hear me always talk about that. But how do we get this is good. You do that too, Maurice, getting people together with your collective minds, and that's good. But how do we get there to have these conversations? Because if we could say that all day, communicate, okay, term. How do we get together to make these communications happen?
Like what you're doing.
Right? No, what I'm saying,
Like
that's
what you're
just
doing.
right. That's us. How do we get the rest of them to see things? Because I'm on these sites where I don't pay them no mind, but I listen to the ignorance. But some of the comments make sense to me, right? Because when you hear things, they could be negative, but in between all those negatives, there's a positive, right? And all some of these Black guys do is degrade Black women, right? So if that's how they see us, Black women, how do we, and you all could say all day, we don't need to change their mind. As far as I'm concerned, yes, we have to do something where we could unite and change their mind and the perspective of how they see us.
Education and communication. And then guess what? If you like what you heard tonight, next time you have a podcast, invite somebody. Say, man, I had a great conversation. Beverly Perryman, Spice Island girl, man, we was talking about this, something we need to talk. I think you will be interested in it because we all know somebody that talk like we talk at work, the business we own or in the streets or whatever, a family member. And you invite them to the next one. And now guess what? The 5 turns into 10. The 10 turns into 20. We keep going. But the whole thing is, all you can do is tell them you can't make them come, so you plant the seed. That's it. I just on my podcast earlier this morning, guess what I was talking about? We would rather be entertained than educated.
Correct.
I'm going to talk about a bad bee while I don't have a man. I'm talking about this when I don't really have it all that together and I need a real woman. I don't want to understand what it means for me to have a real woman. Every woman wants Boaz, but she don't want to be Ruth. Every dude want a Ruth, but he don't want to be Boaz. So the first thing we have to do is educate ourselves. What does it really mean to be a man? What does it really mean to be a woman? We have to learn what these things are before we profess to be them.
Correct.
Talking about I want a real woman, but I'm not a man.
Seriously.
I want a real man, but I'm not a real woman. Hurt people, especially uneducated hurt people.
Absolutely. So I think, I don't know, being that you have your podcast, you have your group, I have my group here. I think at some point we could probably do that at least once in a while, put those 2 groups together to have these conversations. So then maybe it'll start spreading and getting wider.
You visit mine, I visit yours. Let's, like you just said just now,
right.
Let's bring them together.
And then
my whole thing is like have open, honest communication, like the Queen said.
Right.
What's your favorite color, Beverly? What's your favorite color? Red. Purple. Okay, mine's is red, right? Guess what? We can argue forever and it won't change those facts. So what I say that to say this, the whole thing is to have open, honest communication. We can broaden each other's minds. Your opinion is your opinion. I can understand it. It does not mean that I have to accept it and change my life to live according to it. It just means I understand where you're coming from. And the next time I run into somebody that thinks like you, I'm gonna understand why. But we don't have to argue. My relationship and marriage counseling and even business, I tell people this: do not argue to prove a point. Do not argue to be right. Let's communicate to come to peaceful understandings, even if those understandings are to peacefully disagree. We don't have to agree with each other. We just understand how each other think.
But
let's develop together.
But if you notice, and that what you say is correct, and I agree with that for the simple fact that I would say things based on my experience, which is not going to be correct to you because you didn't have the same experience that I have. So in my mind, that's correct.
Yeah.
And the only things that's true is facts. And even so, depending on your experience, is there things outside of facts? Of course, because it's things that we experience. And nobody cannot take your experience away from you. So one of my goals, and I've been talking about it, is to get all these women together and let's have conversations. And I would like for the men to do the same thing, get the men together, and then we can come together on the same topic and just have that civilized conversation. We don't have to agree, but just listen to each other. And I think that's a way of communicating. Like, I would like to see our Black men not look at us in the light of being aggressive, we're money hound, we're this, and all the negative things that they talk about us. I mean, I have this whole thing on how to become that woman, but I can't make you that woman. You have to feel it into yourself to become that woman, because we have to be what we want. Like Maurice mentioned that earlier. And my thing, like when I have my sessions with my clients, I tell them, first of all, make a list of all the things that you want. List the things that you don't want, and then make a list of the things that you can live with. So for me, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I can tolerate a man that's a light drinker. I cannot tolerate a smoking man because I sure don't want your breath with cigarette all over me. I don't want my hair to smell like your cigarette, okay? So you're weeding out the things that you definitely can't. The things that I can tolerate is a social drinker. The things that I can tolerate, okay, somebody say, we are going to do this together. We're going to do this. Everything else doesn't matter. Once you weed out the things that you will not tolerate, everything else is workable. So I'd like I said, get my women together and let's start working on ourselves. I call it the other woman because we all have that other woman. So let that other woman come out and stop showing that side that society have us in. Right? With the term that they use for Black woman, the other one is resting bitch face. Who knows what that means? You all ever heard that term? Okay, so it's the woman that never smile. You ever see women, you say hello to them,
Yeah.
So they call that resting bitch face.
Okay.
Let's get that out. All right, so let's be that pleasant woman, queen that we're supposed to be, because definitely it is in us.
Man, I'm telling y'all, please, man, go get this book, Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. Please go get it. It's a powerful book, man. Lets you know a lot of reasons why we do a lot of the situations and things we do, how we are the only culture that sing music to call our women BITCHs and HOEs and prostitutes, and how we gonna manipulate them to get this. And then they came over a period of time, just starting like 10 years ago, maybe 15, so women started adapting to that. Now she talk about how she do threesomes and she want multiple guys and all she wants is the bag, and she gonna trick the dude from it to set the dude up to get robbed because she got good wop. It's all a program, man. It's a system. And we gotta do something about that. Only education can do it. We can't keep blaming the system for treating us for the activities that we perpetuate. We do everything it is that they want us to do. We do everything it is that they want us to do, you know, on a grand scale, and then triple what they do to us.
Absolutely. I see Mr. JJ on. Mr. JJ, any words for us? I'm gonna pick on you. Mr. Husbands, you've been quiet tonight. What's up?
Just listening to what's being said.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting your book too, man.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You know I was gonna pick on you.
That's quite all right, but you know, Maurice had it. He hit a lot on. He's on the spot. On the spot. I mean, what he's doing and the husbands and I heard Patricia before. It's all about this communication, and that's what's going to help us. Because
Correction.
everybody's saying something that's right. And it's not, you know, it's not who's more than the rest. We've all got bits and pieces of rights here. And yeah, you know, when I just heard him talk about the book, I mean, yeah, he makes a good point. You know, we got a lot of work to do with educating ourselves in reality. So, you know, these type of communications that you're doing is good. It has to be ongoing, continually. And so that I give you that praise for doing this. And Maurice for speaking out, and Michael for speaking out, and Tricia for speaking out. I mean, that's what we have to do.
That's Yvette, correction. She doesn't have her name on it, says iPad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
But what we're doing is good. I mean, it's not going to be solved in a day, but we have to continue these conversations, and people have to bring up things, and we have to think about it and then take action and lead by example. If Maurice is going to do this, he's got to lead by, the best thing to do is lead by example. He can't make anybody do anything. We have to watch him. And I'm doing that. And so far it's great. No, I'm all for it. I agree with him.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. You appreciate it.
Yeah. Eric must have a lot of school papers to correct. He's only lending us his ears tonight.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna and I'm ordering. I don't want to get your book. I don't want to get it off of Amazon. I'm gonna just send you the money or cash app you, and then you autograph it and send it to me. You say
We need that information.
And
your podcast.
Oh, he's on an assignment, but he graced us with his presence. We appreciate that. Okay, we are 10 o'clock. We're in good time tonight. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, Maurice, for joining us tonight. And thank everybody else for their input. Yvette, Michael, AJ. You guys know how I feel. I appreciate you guys. Without you, there's no us here, okay? So like I said earlier, we just have to continue to do this, each one teach one. And you men got to change us from being that lonely Black woman. You know, and us Black women got to put that boss mentality back in the bag somewhere, you know, and just start showing respect. When I think at one of the Zooms before, somebody said that because they saw what their grandparents did or went through, grandmother, that they become the disrespect and to the men. But the thing is, we know better now. We don't have to do like they did. We have the ability now to communicate. We know how to communicate. Whereas back then, I think it was more of the silence. Things is too much in the open now for us to be silent. So I think we just got to work on ourselves first before we can work on anybody else. So those are my last words.
thank each and every one of you. You are appreciated, all your comments. Thank you so much for inviting me again, Beverly. I appreciated you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Until next time, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
Everyone, take
Thank
it easy.
you.
Everyone, have a good night.